Hi, welcome to yarnchix podcast. This is episode 72 and my name is Mimi. I have an Instagram account called Leapwed and I host this podcast about knitting, crafting, mending, sewing. I'm super happy you're here today, so thank you for visiting me. I hope you're well. I hope you don't mind the sounds of my busy street. And that you have a little bit of time maybe to sit and craft alongside me. I have a few projects to show you and a few updates. If you don't know my podcast, I host make-alongs and swaps because I really love the community side of podcasting here on YouTube. I have a Patreon page where lovely people support my work and they get letters or blogs or extra vlogs from time to time. So it's like a behind the scenes spot, and you can go over and check out what I plan to do every month. I do like a free post at the beginning of the month to kind of show an overview of what's to come. Sometimes that kind of trickles into the next month, which I assume might happen now because we're at the end of November already. I don't know how this happened. The last time I recorded was at the end of September, so my every other month habit this year seems to persist. I have a tarot net oracle at the end, so I ask my tarot cards a question. I'm using the Pagan Cats deck this time. I absolutely love that. And I'm asking about whether our swap is gonna be smooth sailing. And then I share a knit reportage, which is footage that I filmed at Berlin Knits, a yarn festival here in Berlin, where I got to work for my friend Nora of kiezgarn. So there you had a little bit of a visual glimpse. I try and edit these in the beginning with kind of spoiler alert. Here comes Charlie. Charlie is one of our two cats. She's very cheeky. She loves the wet wool that I have on the table because yes, I have wet wool on the table. I am so happy we're at almost the end of Magic 3 Mile, which is a craft along hosted here, make along, where we make 3 items and create sets for little people. So it's either our own children or friends' children, our neighbors, relatives, whoever you want to craft for that's a little bit smaller. Or maybe you want to craft for yourself. That's also been happening. We're making like a me sets, so kind of supporting or celebrating our mother happiness and creating for ourselves. So these sets then get photographed as a flat lay, and there's always a big prize draw of all the contesting sets. I hope you have time this week to just take a picture. If you haven't finished anything, I'm also happy for you to, or if you haven't got all your 3 items together, which is tops, bottoms, a toy or an accessory, you could also take 3 separate pictures because I'm back on Ravelry. I've opened the yarnchix podcast channel back up. I am a little bit tired of the constant kind of crushing up against waves of the Instagram algorithm. I find linear old school internet much more my style. So yeah, I'm back on Ravelry. Maybe sorry that I've left, but I'm back, and I'm not yet leaving the Instagram hub of things, because it's kind of the easiest way to connect, especially now with our stashvent swap. More about that in a minute. But all of this to say, hop on over to Ravelry, find me on Patreon. There's other places where there's community growing, and we can have a chat about Magic 3 Mile or about stashvent, because for our countdown calendar swap that happens every winter, I've also opened a chatter thread over on Ravelry, and it's more about, like, I don't know, maybe showing the projects we're working on, or just being excited. I'm super excited. It's like the last weekend in November, so everything should have arrived, or should be arriving right now. I'm a little bit worried, because that's always like the weekend where I go, okay, do I need to send out extras? This year we're like 72 sign-ups, so that's maybe twice as many as last year, where for reasons I wasn't able to advertise as much. But yeah, that's a big group of swapping folks. I have support by a friend in the Netherlands who could send out an extra calendar should something get lost, kind of in the Netherlands, or nearish by, maybe the kind of West Germany or England, maybe even. And then there is someone in America who's kindly offered. Emily has said she would be up for sending something out in my name in case something gets lost in America. And the Australian swap happened exactly between two people, so they're like swapping with each other. And the rest of Europe, and then like quite a bit of us in Germany, are swapping, like, you know, craft calendars completely from our stash. So we're using our stash yarns to make little minis, and then we send them to someone to have for their countdown calendar. Here comes Charlie. Because this is going to carry on. Sorry, love you. Yeah, and in order to understand what our swappies like, they filled in a little questionnaire, and with those answers and kind of knowing what winter celebration they're celebrating, we personalize from our stash for someone else. Obviously, we can't always fulfill all the wishes, but it's kind of nice to know what colors they like, what projects they have in mind and stuff. And someone completely different uses the questionnaire that we've answered to send something to us. So, yay! I chat about this a lot in the last podcast, and sign-ups are closed because they do close around Halloween. We are all like in the midst of like communicating. Has everything arrived? Is everyone fine? Fingers crossed, please. Because I've made 2 extra calendars, so should none of the local calendars, I'm like Daumen drücken, should none of them get lost, I will host a giveaway here on YouTube. So just comment below with what is your favorite adventy, like countdowny, scrappy project that you imagine doing, and comment with that, and I will have 2 calendars to give away. I'm super excited that I've made those. You know, all the minis are made, they're in the freezer, they're being safe and waiting for their turn. And this weekend I will wrap them up as presents so they could go out to you if everything is good in the hood. Those countdown calendars I would make as New Year's Eve calendars, because then if they arrive with you on the 10th of December, that's when they would start. So join the giveaway. Okay, let's go into finished objects. I have like a fun project to share with first things first. It's actually a mini zine. So My mini zine is called Trostkorb, and it's all about the things that give us comfort and help when grieving. And it's a yarnchix letter that I'm sending out for October, November, I guess December, because by the time it arrives it will be December, as the yarnchix letter for the Patreon tier, where people support me to get analog mail. And it's entirely made from paper. I learned how to Riso print about 4 years ago, and now I'm a member of the Colorama printing community workshop. It's for Flinter specifically, so yeah, it's a really cool, safe place. And I've learned to use the A3 machine there, and I made an analog zine on it, and I love it. A very much of a slapdash zine maker, and I had a lot of fun making this, about all the things that give me comfort and when the grief wave comes. Yeah, I'm happily gonna send that out, I guess early next week, so early December, and it will be in your mailbox if you're one of my yarnchix letter subscribers, or if you decide to subscribe now. That was the first finished object. The other finished objects are something I made during Magic 3 Mal, and I haven't got a complete set for yet. So this is the Stripes Kit Vest, a design by Laura Hamler. Laura is a Knitstrick on Ravelry, and I think this pattern has been released as of last week, so it's a recent release. I got to test knit and I had so much fun. I found these secondhand buttons. I love them. I used Gilliatt and mortar in these two pink colors, and I think that on this camera it really shows the contrast. Sometimes when I was knitting in the dark I was like, oh, will you actually see the stripes? But I think it's really cute. It's a super nice pattern, and I like this kind of very classic neckline. I think it's a really nice warm layer for a toddler. I knitted size 4 to 5, so for a 4-year-old. And yeah, I can highly recommend. Laura is also a Magic 3 Mal crafter, so I think we shall support. And go look at Laura's pattern. I need to make bottoms and a toy with that, so just stay tuned in the Ravelry thread if I manage to do this weekend, because until Monday night, so 1st of December is the end of our make along. A finished set, however, is this. And I think I presented the finished set already last time in episode 71 with an Ankers bonnet using kiezgarn, sock yarn and midnight sol alpaca fluff. A tiny little popcorn vest, a design by Misha and Puff. Again, this is an alpaca silk, Zuri silk from kiezgarn in the Cotti colorway. And I used Jameson and Smith's 2-ply jumper weight in this purple. Oh God, I love it. Okay, I want to have that my size. And then the bottoms in that set are these. Designed by Ainur, toqtiqu, I'll put down in the down box, for Purl Soho. And I use this, I think it doesn't pick up the colour, maybe if I put the purple next to it. It's actually brighter, kind of goldenrod colour. It's Pamela yarn by Pelica, and it's super nice to work with for kids things because it's nice and woolly, non-super wash, sport weight. And yeah, so these 3 things. And obviously I'm working on more toys, which you would have seen last time. And I want to make small outfits for those little toys. So you will, yeah, there will be posts coming now. And I will put some finished sets in the Ravelry thread to kind of kick it off and inspire. Even if it's for the future, you know, we can dream of 2026 Magic 3 Mile, but for now this is like finishing stages of Magic 3 Mile. Go for it. There is a knit along, craft along that I'm actually taking part in myself. I'm joining in with Fish, okay, there you see. Fish, Girl, Fall, Make Along. And, sorry, the two people who are hosting it, Designs by So-and-so, and Young Folk Knits, whose name is Casey. And the two of them, they host this, Ashley and Casey, they host Fish, Girl, Fall, Make Along. And I've made the Esther cardigan. It's still wet, so it's a proper like Fish, Girl, Fall here. All the ends are woven in, but you'll see them because I always block my knitwear with the threads after darning them in. I'll block them and leave them loose and then cut them later. I've got to really carefully drape it because it's actually super wet. This wool is so thick. And what you can't see until you're really close up is this effect. Okay, it's actually ridiculous. It's so wet, but I'm gonna film it blocking so you have a little bit of a visual about it, and I filmed quite a lot of it in my stories. I'm using La Rinconada. It's a yarn by the Wool Dreamers that is a breed-specific Spanish wool that is super nice and woolly and still a little bit oily, so I really like the lanolin richness. And I held it together with Murka yarn, which is a merino single that used to be produced using Romanian merino yarn, so it's a really specific yarn. And Murka closed business I think 3 or 4 years ago, and just before they finished they had this phase where they're also naturally dyeing. So from a friend I had a stash present of madder dyed Murka, and then I used it in this project thinking I'll have enough, but sure enough I ran out. And then I was like, oh my god, it's like I've got to frog it. And my friend Sabila was like, no, we need to find someone with this yarn. Let's, you know, you go, you ask around. I'm sure you know someone. And lo and behold, I know people who have this yarn. So Suzanne, Mareike and Katharina sent me yarn. Geraldine and Fran offered more, as well as Susanna from Hamburg. So I had so many kind people saying, I can frog my shawl, I don't wear it. I was like, no, don't frog a project because I have lost a game of yarn chicken. Don't do that. Luckily, it was just leftovers from projects from their stash. So they were all, the people who sent it, Katharina, Suzanne and Mareike, they're all like, oh, this is stash yarn that I won't be using and I'm happy for you to have it. I'll show you some of it because I have it in my bag. So, this is the Murka yarn that Mareike sent, that's madder dyed. And I used that for the bottom of the cardigan, for casting off, like in this bit. And then Josh had sent me this one that was a little bit darker with less pink, and up here that's a light one with very, very little pink. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. And then the one that Katharina sent me, and actually Suzanne from the Netherlands, was cream, so undyed, and so I used that for the ribbing of the neckline. And then I did this little intarsia bit, so I used the pink up down here and the cream up there, and then I cast off the sleeves with the cream on both sides. Oh my god, they should really invent YouTube with smell. Like, if you were into sheepy smells, you would like this. Now, all I need is to wait for it to dry. My friends have said I should just whack it on the heater, and maybe I should be doing that when I go to work, because I so want to wear this on the weekend. And I want to find some like toggle buttons, definitely wooden buttons, I think. So I guess it will have to appear as a proper finished item in the next podcast. And yeah, here's the cream. Sorry for the crinkles. The cream. So now I have this left over. Oh, thank you, my friends. You're so cool. And yeah, Katharina, Suzanne and Mareike, I will make something with this right away. I want to keep using it because I thought it was so magic how you sent me it, and I want to appreciate and say like I'm full of gratitude for our crew. I thought that was really amazing. So thank you so much for your support, and yeah, anyone who gave me a shout out and said, have you found it? Or like Sabila was like, we've got to make an effort, we've got to find this. Yes, we did. And now I'm just about to start wearing it as it gets colder here in Berlin. So that's an almost finished object. I also have a Sophie hood. Both of these patterns are from Mette, who is petiteKnit, and I usually don't podcast about Mette's designs because we work with it so much at work, and it's such a big design. I do like podcasting about the indie designers, the smaller, more, because I feel like that's what I should be using my platform for. But to be honest, this time I've knit these and they're both so nice to knit and so nice to wear, and you know, I do want to show the gratitude about that, even if that brand doesn't necessarily need my promotional. It's just an appreciation, and I wanted to show you that I've used an entirely different gauge for the Sophie hood. So this is the Sophie hood. Usually you knit with a 5mm needle, but I used a 3.5mm needle, and I love this green. It's Jameson's Spindrift, and then I ran out, and so half of it is Jameson and Smith, Jameson's and Smith's 2-ply jumper weight. So it's like a half and half wrap around, and I love it. It's like babushka style scarf, and as I have a little bit of wet hair, actually make me might carry on wearing it. I can highly recommend, if you're into the kind of Sophie series, to just use the Sophie scarf pattern if you want to knit at a different gauge and make the hood, and use the Sophie hood pattern and adjust your gauge accordingly in the hood part. I think it's worked out pretty well. I just changed kind of how many rows I knitted up here. It's quite short on the head, but that's great because I do like wearing, like, you know, cappies, we say in German, hats, like that. And I have a woolen hat that I wear quite a lot, and this goes over the top like this, and then I have my hat. I love it. It's kind of, I've been wearing it non-stop since it got cold now, and I finished it when I went to Edinburgh. I have just released all the Edinburgh vlog, travel vlogs that I shared in Patreon as like a free content. So that will be the last thing uploaded in my account as a free item. But it was a year ago that was like paid for Patreon content. But I'm gonna kind of do that from time to time and just kind of open up, because it's quite a lot of work to edit it, to be honest, and I want to share it with a wider public, but I hope that's okay. Like, the patrons definitely have like pre-release, they have like the most newest, freshest content, and then a little while later it might become like a public upload. Okay, works in progress, that's the next. I have cast on, and it's still very fitting with the Fish Girl 4 Make Along. A Pelica vest. This is a design by Rosa Pomar, and I'm using a yarn that I bought at Rosa Pomar many moons ago. So it's another stash yarn celebration. Just as Esther cardigan was like stashed and gifted to me by my former colleague Hannah La Rinconada, and Möke, that someone had given me, and that was in my stash for years now. Plus other friends' stash. This is also a stash yarn. Fontifado is very, very similar to Gilliatt, if you don't know it. It's a French brand, and it's this kind of woolen spun. I love this natural color. Extreme neutral. I mean, I could blend in with our house really easily because we have these kind of wooden structures and beige walls. I could just disappear. I am knitting Portuguese Purl. I love that the pattern comes in like either like a knit for continental knitters, I guess a preferred technique, or Portuguese Purl, and I wanted to change it up because I do have to look after my hands and arms a bit, so by changing up the technique I'm saving myself. And I actually have something to unbox, which right after my little interlude, you will see what I've bought to go with this stash yarn. The parcel. I think I need a shoe. Oh, look at this card. Wow. Then crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. These are the buttons I want to put on the Pelica vest. Oh, they will be so cute with this vest. And I love how it's like this really cute house card. Oh my god. These are from Lea Moorman and Ulrike Lea. You see at the top, it's their name, which is also their brand, and they're super cool crafter as well, so I'm super happy to support them. I'm trying to buy these kind of treats for myself for Christmas, because I guess that is when I will be finishing this, with stashvent coming up and lots of scrappy knitting. I assume that will be like the next period when I will have finished items. So I hope you like that, and I really hope you like the next thing. It's a work in progress I've worked on for a while, inspired by my lovely friend Anda, who I miss so dearly. And yeah, it's a kind of heart project. Let me take off the scarf so it's not really finished, but we can try it on anyway. I'm working on a crochet pattern. And it's a bonnet. So you have kind of 4 sides. So one ear, top of the head, back of the head, and now I'm finishing the other ear side. So let's try it on. It will be like this. Yeah, just have to imagine it's closed here. And then, including the front, I made the bottom neckline. All these small little floral. And I will crochet them as the bottom so that I have something to tie. Like this. This is like a rough sketch, work in progress. And then I will make a big bow so that you have like a big, almost like scarf like closure. And I'm using really lovely Suri silk from Nora. This pink is Baby Girly, one of my favorite colors. And the other favorite color is Cotti, this purple. And then the other colors are all Midnight Sol, including the gray, which is a tencel, alpaca, and wool. Yeah, almost like a silk mohair, similar. So you could make this from silk mohair. And obviously, I've woven in some of the ends, but there's some more to weave in. It's a pattern I will share in my zine, Blume. Apologizing for the long delay in zine making for my Patreon zinists, but it will come. I'm like so close, and I've reprinted some of these crochet instructions and the cover and the inside, which is an illustration by Pia, and it's just gonna be quite intensely worked on zine, like a little bit maybe overworked, I hope not, but with a lot of love and care. So I can't wait to share that with you. I need to actually go soon and record the Tarot Knit Oracle, and the camera is playing up. So let me say goodbye and share like the knit reportage with you. I'm about to go. So again, I wanted to say thank you so much for your time. I hope you like my crochet bonnet. Und Wolle kommt natürlich